wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Welcome. I hope you are having a fantastic day. This weekend I competed in the annual L7C Duel Day tournament, and I won it. There's the Duel Day tournament consists of three different competitions. One is the free for all, which I unfortunately did not win. Mr. Byron won with an old faithful Okazi for a game. If you don't know what Okazi is, pays 800 life points for your opponent, and in a free for all setting, that is everyone. And unfortunately, won it off of that. Great play, and it's kind of a how he won it the last time he won it. So it was cool to see. There was also during that free for all the play of the century by Mitchell Oso, which I won't go into big depths in. There's going to be a video that the L7C channel, Mr. Martin, is going to be posting himself. That link to the video will be down below, and the link to the L7C channel where Duel Day was broadcasted will also be below. What I'm here for is the other two events, the tag teams and the one-on-ones, which I have won both, and by winning both, made me the overall champion. And today, I just want to go through the deck that won Duel Day this year. So, this is the deck that won Duel Day. It consists of, as you guys could possibly know, 15 cards in the side deck, 15 cards in the extra deck, and then exactly 40 cards in the main deck. Now, as you guys know, I am known as the Utopic Master. Utopias are my main deck. They're my old faithful. It's a deck I've been running for about 10 years now, and I've just been updating it and updating it with whatever new cards come out, whether the new level 4 engine and whatever extra deck monsters come out. So this is the deck list. I'll go through the main engine of the deck, go through the extra deck and side deck with you guys, and kind of explain why they're in there and my thought process. So we'll get into the main engine of the deck, which starts with Ascended Sage. I run 3 copies of these bad boys. Ascended Sage can be special summoned if you control no cards on the field. Also, when he's XZ summoned, you can search for a rank up card, any rank up card. So this usually gets me to hyper rank up or some of the other rank ups, but primarily hyper rank up in the combo, which you'll see that shortly. Level 4 searcher for rank up, perfect, can special summon itself, awesome. Next, we'll get into the Onomatopoeia engine. So I'm running 3 Utopic Onomatopoeias. Its effect, it's always treated as a Zubababa, Gagaga, Go-Go-Go's, Do-Do-Do's, all those cards. Also, you can activate its effect to special summon any one of those. So it's a normal summon, special summon any one of those cards from your hand, and it's kind of the center of the engine. It's the main card. The table kind of nicknames them Teenage Utopia because it kind of looks like a teenage version of number 39 Utopia. Next 3 is Go 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 Glove. I'm not going to say the full name. Also part of the family. Effect is when it's normal on the field. He can activate his effect and special summon any of the family members, whether it's Utopic Onomatopoeia or Coat, which you'll see here shortly. Also, if Utopic Onomatopoeia is on the field, he can special summon himself from the grave. Alright. Then the last part of the family members is Gagaga Coat. Whenever Onomatopoeia is on the field, he can special summon himself from my hand. Also, once he's on the field, he can activate his effect and special summon any of the family members, whether it is Onomatopoeia or Glove, from the graveyard. So I run 3 of each. It's the main engine, and they're level 4 swarms. So those are the monsters of the main engine. Next, we'll go into the spells of the engine, which is 3 automatic pickups. I've tinkered with, or I'm thinking about tinkering with maybe doing less than 3, but main effect of automatic pickup is when you activate it, you can search for either Onomatopoeia or any automatic spell and trap. The other one you'll see here shortly. Also the secondary effect, which I don't use all that often, which is you can target one of the family members, Gaga's, Onomatopoeia, goats, so on and so forth. And if you target him, all monsters you control are now level 4. So I don't use that secondary effect all too much, but it's a little niche. But it's a searcher for Utopic Onomatopoeia. And the next card you see, which is I run 2 Onomatopoeias. What this is when you activate this, you have to discard a card to the graveyard, and then it allows you to search 2 monsters of any of the family members. So this is Zazaza, Gaga, whatever, all of them. You can bring 2 of them from your field to your, or from your deck to your hand. So it allows you to get those monsters to your hand very quickly. That is the main engine of the deck. It runs around, I believe, 17 cards. Again, I thought about maybe dropping that down to maybe, I was thinking about maybe 2 pickups and then only 1 para, but something I'm tinkering with. I kind of like having a little bit more consistency, which means I need to have more of the engine in the deck, but something I'm looking at in the future. The next part of this deck, which is I say the extended version of the engine. It's not quite the main engine, but they're monsters and spells that help with the engine. So in the monsters portion, we'll go into 3 Astral Utopias. Which this is if I control an XYZ, I can special summon him to the field. Then his effect is I can activate it, send 1 card from the field or my hand to the graveyard, and then I can search pretty much any card in my deck. So it's XYZs, Automat, Zexals, or numbers, spells, and traps. So this allows me to get to my engine. This allows me to get to any of my support cards that you'll see shortly, any number cards that you'll see shortly, so on and so forth. So it's pretty much an omni searcher. Can pretty much search out all but a handful of cards in my deck, or spells and traps in my deck, and go from there. Yeah. The other monster is 3 Astral Kuribos. This effect is if I special summon, I can reveal a level 4 monster. It's always going to be level 4 for me. I can reveal a level monster, and then it becomes from an extra deck a rank monster from my extra deck, and I can special summon this card to the field, and its level becomes that rank. So I always reveal a rank 4 Utopias and special summon it to the field. It gives me an extra level 4 monster if I need to XZ summon. The secondary effect is any monster that is under with an XYZ summon, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So I overlay this with another level 4 to make Utopia. That Utopia can no longer be destroyed by battle or card effects. So that's an extra special summon. I'll be honest, whenever I am going second, I usually side 2 of these out. It's part of the monsters I side out, and to get some other cards in there for like more going second plays. But that's the part of the extended engine that allowed me to level 4 Swarm. The next monster, part of the extended engine or main deck, is my only ZW weapon in this deck, which is ZW Pegasus. Normally this will be attached to Leo, which you'll see and I'll explain shortly, but this ZW weapon is a monster negation on the field. It's kind of on the special side of it because it's not a standard monster negation. It happens usually after the chain, so it's kind of nice whenever you're chain blocking a monster, or if you're trying to chain block, your opponent's trying to chain block you. It can activate outside of the chain, and it activates kind of in between, so you get to negate a monster. If someone's trying to chain block you, you kind of can get around that. Next, we'll get into the spells, and we get into my rank up. So my first one is Hyper Rank Up Magic Utopic Force. This is to get number 99, which we'll talk about in the future. Also, when it's in the graveyard, and 99 does XYZ summon from the extra deck, he can then attach to that monster as material. So it's material from the grave and allows me to get to 99. Next one is Rank Up Magic Zexal Force, which this is another card I'm debating whether it should stay here or not. I don't mind it because let's say 99 somehow leaves my extra deck for whatever reason, and I haven't been able to get to Leo yet. That's a rank up in there that I can use to get to Leo. Also, as a secondary effect is if my life points is 2k under my opponent's, I can banish it from my graveyard and draw a card. So it has some draw power to it, and just an extra tool, an extra rank up just in case if 99 does go away. All right, next is Zexal Construction. This is a search for the Utopias. It can search out any ZW, ZS, Zexal, Spell and Trap, rank up, or rank up card in my deck by sending one card from my deck to my hand. So that's the cost. I have to send one card from my hand to my deck, which is why I mainly have it in there. The actual searching effect, I have other cards to search these cards out. As it's nice to have an extra searcher in here, yes, but there are a few cards that if I draw in the first 5 cards that I kind of want to send back to the graveyard or send back to my deck. And one of those is Double or Nothing. This pairs up with Utopia Double, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And when this is part of, if you draw Utopia Double, then it kind of ruins your Utopia Double play. So being able to Zexal Construction, send Utopic Double back to the deck so that you can use that later and search it out with Utopic Double, it allows that play to happen still. So being able to use Zexal Construction to send this back is kind of pretty important. The next also Zexal Construction. If let's say Twin Pegasus is in my hand, I can also use it to send that back. So when Leo's effect activates and attach it, you know what I'm saying. Those are the type of cards that I don't necessarily like having in my hand. I'd rather have them in my deck because I have cards that search them out, and it's crucial for me to search them out for the play to happen. Next is Zexal Interest. This is a monster reborn for my ZW or ZS monsters, and also a monster reborn for Utopia monsters. The secondary effect is once it's in the graveyard, I can banish it and get any Zexal spell and trap back to my hand from the graveyard, aka that would be Zexal Construction. If I do need to bring that card back to my hand, just banish that from the graveyard. Bada bing, bada boom. Next card is XYZ Change Tactics. So this is a card that I can search out with Utopia. It's a standard. It's been a part of the kind of the archetype for a while now. When a Utopia monster is XYZ summoned to your field, you can pay 500 life points, draw one card, and if you do, you can only control one XYZ Change Tactics at a time. So if I can somehow get to this before summoning all my Utopias, this is any Utopia monster, it just allows me to have some extra draw power. And most of the time I usually use this about 4 times if I'm going first, if I can get to it going first. So it just allows me to draw 4 more cards outside of the original 5 that I have in my hand. So it just allows for some draw power. So for some of those cards that are not searchable, that I do want to my hand, hand traps or certain traps that I may side in, it just allows an extra higher chance for me to get to those cards first turn. Next is Rhoda. You guys know what Rhoda is. All my monsters outside of the Pegasus is a level 4 warrior, and so you want to have Rhoda in your hand. It's an easy search. Next is Monster Reborn. Again, it allows me to get Utopia out to the field if it's been destroyed, and if I want to use it, any type of material at level 4 material I want in my graveyard that I've used, it gets to that very, very easily. It's just always good to have a Monster Reborn. You can use it for your opponent's monsters. Let's say they need something onto their field and it's in the graveyard, steal it for a turn or two. You know, it's Monster Reborn, old school. Next, Harpy's Feather Duster. For anyone knows anything, I hate back rows, and you'll see that a little bit later. So this is pretty much a staple, at least for mostly for going second, but I have it for going first too, to be able to clear a back row. The board that I usually set up, I have enough monster negates to be able to play through monster negates or negate enough monsters to stop my opponent. But it's really those traps and back row that usually screw me over. So Harpy's Feather Duster. Next is a going first card, Called by the Grave. I can only have one of these. You guys know what Called by the Grave is. If I get hand trapped, quick play, Called by the Grave, send the hand trap away. Bye bye Ash Blossom. So great card. Allows for me to, if I can get to it first turn, allows for me to get my combo off without worrying about an Ash or something like that. And then we get to the last 6 cards, which is pretty interchangeable sometimes. But with going first, I kind of make it more hand trap heavy because I don't know whether if I'm going first or second if I'm in a match. So talking about Ash, it's 3 Ash Blossoms. Again, if coin flips, if I'm going second, I kind of want a couple hand traps in here just in case I do go second, and I want to be able to stop my opponent, or at least disrupt them a little bit, you know. So got Ash. The next 3 is Imperm. So I run 3 Imperms. They're my traps. Imperms are good going first or second because, again, if I'm going first, I can just set the trap. If I'm going second, well, it's a hand trap. I can use it to disrupt my opponent in his first turn. So that's in the main deck that I use. And yeah, next we'll go into the extra deck. So in the extra deck, I run exactly 2 Utopias. And I'll tell you, one Utopia is to make 99, and the other Utopia is for the double or nothing play. So 2 Utopias. Next is Utopia Rising. This is a relatively new card within the last, let's say, 6 months. I think it was beginning of the year it came out, or end of last year it came out, something like that. What it does is, when it's special summon, I can take 1 number monster from my graveyard, except number 39 Rising, special summon it to defense position, and move the material from this monster to the new one. So let's say some card that you'll see in future, let's say Future Dragon, let's say that's in my graveyard somehow, I can then bring it back with Rising. So it's pretty much a number monster reborn, and then it adds materials that I use to make it. So very, very nice card. Secondary effect is this card is in the graveyard, and I XYZ summon. I can then special summon this from the graveyard, and that also does that whole chain again, where if I special summon it from the graveyard even, I can then special summon another number monster from the graveyard. Sorry. Wet my... Whew. Alright. Next is, you heard me talk about it, Utopia Double. OTK potential, this is Utopias. If I need a big attack, this is the big attack. So 2 level 4 monsters, special summon him, activate his effect, attach, search double or nothing from the deck. That's key. I have to search double or nothing from the deck. That's why I want double or nothing from to stay in my deck for this play. And then I can special summon any Utopia monster over top of them. Most of the time, it's always going to be a normal Utopia, so then I can negate its own effect, use double or nothing, and then I can attack with 10k. Get over pretty much anything out there. Only a few cases where I haven't been able to get over a monster using Utopia Double. So, OTK potential. Next card in my extra deck is the standard Utopic Ray, C39. Now, I only use this for material for number 99. You can also use roots. You can there's a few other ways, but honestly, it's only used to have material for 99, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Next card, heard me talk about it. It's Ultimate Leo Utopic Ray. It counts as C39 Utopia Ray, which is nice because I can XYZ summon it with number 99. Also, when it attaches, I can search Pegasus or any ZW weapon and attach it. Then, once it has an attachment, it gains the effect. I can target any monster, permanently negate that monster's effect, and cut its attack in half. So, it has to be on the field. That paired with the effect of Pegasus, so this paired with Pegasus then becomes pretty much 2 monster negates. Good card. 2 monster negates. Very nice. Next is pretty much probably the main card in my extra deck. Number 99, Utopic Dragonair. Main effect is attach 2 material to XYZ summon any number monster from my extra deck. So this is any number monster. If you think of a number monster, it can special summon it from the extra deck. This paired with the Hyper Force or Hyper Rank Up card. If it special summons or if it XYZ summons using him, I can bring that Hyper Rank Up card and use it as material. So at least it has one material for any monster that it special summons from the extra deck. Its secondary effect is a battle effect. Is if your opponent attacks you, you can permanently make that monster attack 0. So it has some good battle phase effects, and then it allows you to search or special summon number monsters. And the reason why I again use Ray is to make sure I have 4 attachments on him, because I want to be able to use number 99's effect twice. One for Leo and another one for another card coming up, which is not this card. The next card is Gatling Granite. You usually see this in Emancipators. It's detach, add 1 rock monster from your deck to your hand. Now I use it for it to be a material of another XYZ card in that you'll see a little bit later. Gatling Granite allows me to search a rock monster, and Go Glove happens to be a rock monster, so it allows me to search out one of the family members. But his main, outside of searching out the family members, is to be used as material for a future monster. Next is ZS Utopic Sage. Detach 2 cards from this, and I can special summon any ZW or ZS monster from my deck. Also, secondary effect is a Return of Dragonlord's effect, meaning if a Utopian monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, I can send this card from either the field or grave and prevent their destructions. So the ZW and ZS monster I normally search out is Ascended Sage. Allows me to get the level 4 out there, and also the rank up searcher once I XYZ summon with it. And I can also use this as material for a future monster that you'll see. Next card that I've been debating whether I want to keep in is Gaga Magician. This is detach, and I can special summon any XYZ monster from the graveyard, but its effects are negated. Its secondary effect, which I don't use that often, is if it is a material, I can detach 2 cards from the monster it's attached to, and its effect is negated, but its attack is 4k. So again, effect I don't use that often, but I kind of have it just for, it's kind of like last second card if I want to get Utopia out there, if I need a Utopia out there to rank up for, or if I just need a big beater, let's say Future Dragon, hint, is in my graveyard and I just need a 3k monster to attack with, detach, get a Future Dragon, and I have a 3k beater to attack with. So I've been debating to use this or any other card, so we'll see. And then next is number F0 Utopic Future Dragon. I don't really keep this on the field that often. It's usually to then special summon the next card in my extra deck. But I've had some niche situations where I can't quite get over a monster that Future Dragon can't get over. So I might attack with this, take that monster, and then use their monster to attack with. And then at the end of phase, it brings it back to your opponent. But it allows me to get around a monster that is maybe problematic for me. But its main use is to then bring out Utopic Future Dragon. It's a big boss monster, you guys know what it is. Detach 1 card, negate that monster effect, and then take that monster. Now, if it's in the graveyard or if it's in their hand, obviously I can't take it back to my field, but it's a monster, an Omni monster negate anywhere on the field, or deck, hand, graveyard, and it also cannot be destroyed by battle card effect. So it usually has some staying power. Great card, an additional monster effect or monster negate on the field. The next is the second monster that I normally use, number 99, to special summon, and that is number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. So this is a spell negation, so it gives me one spell negate on the board. I can special summon it with 99, and then they can get an attachment by, well, either negating an opponent's spell card or bringing the Hyper Force rank up card from my graveyard to it. So spell negation allows me to do that. Also, if an XYZ monster other than it is destroyed, I can activate the secondary effect, which then boosts the attack by the XYZ monster that has been destroyed. So it can gain even more attack if one of my XYZs have been destroyed. So good card, spell negation, gives me that on my board. Next one, you guys know it, Abyss Dweller. It's level 4 Swarm. Good card, locks people out of the graveyard. Detach, unable to activate card effects in the graveyard. Good card to have if you're a level 4 Swarm. So the final board, no graveyards. So just an overall nice little addition to have. And then any XYZ deck would not be remiss without Divine Arsenal A Zeus, the Sky Thunder. It's a last ditch effort card. You can get this out there if you have any pesky boards that you need to get around. Attached to send everything on the field besides himself from the field to the grave. So it's kind of a last ditch card that I use. We'll get over some pesky boards that I potentially may be having some issues with. And that is the extra deck. Next is going to be the side deck. Now, side deck is used obviously in a match setting. It's a best of 3, so whenever you have a match, you get to learn what your opponent is playing, and so I have cards in my side deck depending on what types of decks I'm playing against. So the first addition to the side deck is Royal Decree. You guys heard me earlier. I hate my opponent's back rows. It's one of the few things that I do not like. So traps are my bane of my existence, bane to my deck's existence. Side in Royal Decree with XYZ change tactics. Usually the percentage of me drawing Royal Decree in those, either in the first 5 cards or the next 4 that I draw, is about 50 to 60%. So I usually can get Royal Decree to my hand most of the time if I'm going first. So it's a good side deck, locks out traps of my opponents. Next one is the counter trap, Numbers Protect. It is a Omni trap or negation, so it can negate any spell trap, monster effect, and it's also a counter trap, so it's very, very fast. Also, I can search Numbers Protect with Utopia because it can search out any numbers card, as well it can search out pretty much, again, anything in my deck. So let's say if that my opponent is using something that has a lot of extra spells, or even heavy monster negations. So let's say I need more than 3 monster negations, or more than my 1 spell negate that I have with Hope Harbinger. I might side that in there if I'm going first, and give me some extra negations on the board. Next, you guys know it, Dimension Barrier. Side this in if I'm playing against a fusion deck, synchro deck, or whatever. This allows me to kind of lock my opponent out of the extra deck, at least for that one turn. And you guys know all I need is an avenue of attack and then double or nothing, and that's usually game. So this allows me to lock my opponent out of the extra deck. Next, it's a kind of a weird niche trap, old school. Mask of Restrict. Now the player can tribute cards. So the only reason I have this in here is because I've played against a lot of kaiju decks, or people liking to have Lava Golem or Raw Sphere mode. So this allows me to I'll side this in here if I notice that an opponent is playing those types of cards, and it prevents them from kind of breaking my board by attributing my monsters. So Master Stick, I only bring in 1. Doesn't happen too often, but it's in there just in case. It's a extra tool in my toolbox. Next is going to be the extra deck monsters, or side deck monsters. I side in 1 Nibiru. Again, it's Nibiru. If I notice my opponent is special summoning a lot, I might side that in, especially going second, just to kind of disrupt them even more. Next, 3 draw and lock birds. I side these in, specifically going second. Again, prevents my, after the first search, prevents my opponent from adding cards from their deck to their hand. Now, my last card in my side deck is Dark Ruler No More. Negate Arc all cards on the face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of the turn, they do not take battle damage. But again, if they have a lot of monsters out there that have negations, play that, and it allows me to then build my board up and maybe break theirs. Although, even if they're not necessarily, I'm not necessarily winning that turn, it allows me to at least build my board up. And that is the side deck. And this is the deck that I won the L7C Duel Day tournament with. I won the 1v1s and then the tag teams with this deck. Again, siding the stuff out as need be, building my board. The final board, you can look at some of my other videos to kind of see what those boards are. Normally it's some variation of 99, Leo, Utopia Future Dragon, and Hope Harbinger with maybe some support spells and traps behind it. And yeah, that is what I use to win Duel Day. Again, the link to the L7C YouTube channel is down below. Also, there is going to be a video coming out by Mr. Martin of the L7C explaining Duel Day and everything that went on during it. There's been some crazy plays. It lasted 14 hours, so it was a marathon. And I just want to share to you guys the winning deck of Duel Day. Thank you, everyone, and peace.